So if you're looking for a shade-loving plant that blooms in the winter, this is your best bet.
Into early spring too, depending on your climate and how healthy they are and how mature they are. This plant looks kind of small, but
hey everybody, Sean and Allison here from Spoken Garden. Today it's Plant Chat Friday and we're going to talk to you about Christmas Rose Hellebores.
They're so beautiful and they're in bloom right now, which is always nice. But before we get to that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on every daily video. Okay, you guys, this is our Christmas Rose Hellebore. It's a very small, immature plant at this time because we just planted it about a year ago. So we're looking forward to the growth and watching it mature over the next couple years. So you can see these beautiful little white flowers. They're delicate. They're kind of downward facing, which is a characteristic of hellebores, so that's kind of fun. We love it right here because this is an area of our yard underneath this big dogwood tree where we need to plant shadier loving things. And hellebores are perfect for part to full shade. So if you're looking for a shade-loving plant that blooms in the winter, this is your best bet.
So guys, first off, we want to tell you, be safe around these, okay? If you touch the hellebores with your bare hands, it can cause some skin irritation and some dermatitis. So wear gloves, even if they're not leather, plastic gloves, rubber gloves, anything to protect your skin. We don't want you to have a dermatitis or some type of reaction, okay? So now looking at this plant, it's great. It's a beautiful plant. It adds so much texture, and look at that dark green that Allison was pointing out before and these beautiful flowers. Now you can see ours are in full bloom right now, which is kind of crazy because usually they don't start blooming until just before or on Christmas. And that's why they have their name, Christmas Rose Hellebore. Now, this has been a different year for so many different reasons. It's been a wacky, weird year. And our gardens are showing it too, with the bulbs coming up that usually don't come up, and now our Christmas Rose Hellebore flowering. It started flowering, I think you noticed it, honey, it was flowering maybe even before Thanksgiving, which is a little weird for us. That's a little bit early. Now, the hellebores bloom about this time of year, usually just before or after the start of Christmas. So they're definitely a winter flowering plant. They can go all the way into early spring too, depending on your climate and how healthy they are and how mature they are. This plant looks kind of small, but it's going to get about a foot high and about a foot and a half wide. You can put these, you can space these together close if you want to, about a foot, and they'll grow real dense around each other, or in a more open area like you see here, we're giving it a little bit more room to grow, and you can go a foot and a half or even larger like you see here in spacing, if that fits your garden goals and what you want to do. Now the Christmas Hellebore is an evergreen perennial, and you can see here it's got these nice glossy green leaves. So this plant actually grows from the center of its root and its crown spot right here, and it grows up and out from this central point, or what they call a rosette type of growth. Some other plants that are similar in that are primroses and some other plants, so keep that in mind when you're looking to add this to your garden. Now, it's zoned for 3 to 8, and so it's pretty hardy, and it needs regular watering, but it loves shade, like Allison said, and it loves nutrient-rich, fertile soil.
One thing we love about Christmas Rose Hellebores is the fact that they actually change color throughout their growing season. It's so cool. They start out as this beautiful kind of snow white color, and as they age, they actually turn light pink. And some cultivars of Christmas Rose might actually be more of a light pink instead of a white. But they all age to like a darker pink color. Isn't that cool? So one thing we've been noticing though is, as we've been inspecting this this plant, is that we think we have some pest damage going on. We've noticed some small holes and some other things that normally don't. Yeah, there's one right there on that leaf.
Yeah, characteristically, hellebores are pretty pest resistant, and they're definitely deer resistant, but they usually don't have a lot of pest problems. Where you see them having pest problems is when they're growing in not the most optimum conditions, whether they're too wet, there's too much sunlight, they could be in the wrong soil, or the soil drainage isn't the best, and it could be transplant shock. And for us, this plant could still be going through some transplant shock because it is actually a new plant that we placed this spring in our garden.
Yeah, that's a really good point. This seems like a weird time of year for slugs, but slugs could be a problem for hellebores. So that could be the hole we're seeing right there.
And also we have snails that you don't see a lot in our climate, but they are here. And so they come out just like the slugs. They're pretty nocturnal, so that could be a pest eating our leaves too.
So guys, Christmas Rose Hellebores are also susceptible to vine weevils and aphids under certain conditions, so you just need to watch out for those pests. The aphids will attack the hellebores mainly in the early summer, so it's just something to keep an eye on in about, maybe late June, early July. Make sure to watch out for any aphid damage or the actual presence of aphids.
I don't think we mentioned yet that hellebores are in the Ranunculaceae family. It's kind of a crazy word to say. They're actually related to ranunculus, buttercups.
So guys, for companion plants, hellebores go great with other shade-loving plants that like well-draining and rich soil. So you can imagine being an evergreen, even though they're not flowering in the spring and summer and into autumn, they're great because they are evergreen and they pair well with hostas, with primroses, even with rhododendrons and azaleas and other evergreen plants. So just keep that in mind, but also they'll go well with shade-loving annuals and other perennials too, like herbaceous perennials. So anything you can fit in and pair them with that love the same conditions, it'll be great.
Yeah, in fact, this past summer, we interspersed these hellebores. There's actually another hellebore up here, but that's a Lenten rose, and we'll talk about that later this season. We have primroses planted nearby, a whole bunch of them over here, and we actually had a bunch of coleus planted all over, and those looked great all blended together.
And we're actually keeping one over right here because
see it, probably.
If we take these leaves away that we kept, there was some green still growing tissue in here, and we're going to see if we can overwinter these.
I know, that's going to be fun. Coleus usually are not a perennial in our climate,
No,
so
they're not hardy enough.
might as well, it's worth an experiment.
Yeah.
So one big reason we're excited to highlight the Christmas hellebore is not only are they in bloom, but it's like a holiday plant. So it's the perfect time of year to highlight this plant. It could be a good gift for somebody else. Gift them a Christmas Rose Hellebore and it'll bloom this time of year every year.
So leave your comments and questions down below for us. We love hearing from you guys. Give us that thumbs up, let us know we're doing a good job, and subscribe to our channel so you get updates on our latest videos.
And we'll be back tomorrow with our next garden care video, so come on by to see what we're up to and have a great day ahead.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.